I have Kojo Botamba, who has joined us, Niboy Jefferson, Sol Evans, Michelle Cannon, and Kingston Bisnab Asemiga. It's been a while. And Musa Abatua, good morning. Now, Enoch Mensah. And also watching is Paul Apam, and Zylis Dwayne. All right, as it is. We also have to introduce, I guess, for them, communicating for the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as well as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, deeply rooted in the DMB 2024 It Is Possible team, currently communication director for the National Disaster Management Organization. George, you see, is right here. George, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Roland.
And then also legal practitioner, currently heads the directorate for the NDC, Edwige Tamaklo. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Roland. And good morning to my brother, AEC.
I hope you had a great weekend.
My weekend was arguably good. My party had to take the 24-hour economy policy.
You had some party work to do.
Yeah, the 24-hour economy policy proposal to the Western North. And in fact, led by the national chairman, General Mosquito. Yesterday, we did a 24-hour walk in Bodi, Sefi Bodi. It's been a very wonderful outing. And the general acceptance by the good people of this country relative to the 24-hour economy policy program is phenomenal. You hear people saying that with 24-hour economy policy program,
but I've also heard people who say that they don't know the outlines of the policy.
In fact, as you are aware, the party had put out the frequently asked questions. We have outlined the areas, the benefits, and all of those things. And I strongly believe that with a statement by the TUC General Secretary, that is Comrade Dr. Yalba, that the 24-hour policy proposal is going to be a game changer as far as job creation is concerned. And it has greatly been received by the good people of this country. And I'm encouraged. Ours is to reach as many people with a message, and that's exactly what we are doing.
Listen, that you've done, George too, by DMB it is possible. But let's start the discussion. Mark Awawa, good morning, and we're grateful. Please share and let us have some great interaction so far. Bismarck Campbell, before I continue, has a concern. Says, Roland, the people of Shikpon, Tilly, Asaida, and the Electoral Commission, all between Amasaman and Sapeman of Fancoin rehabilitation stretch, they need a footbridge, and so you want our reporters to be there. I'll take a screenshot of this and make sure that we are able to touch base with you and to be able to get something. Naduche Ni Shipi Adama, good morning. Thank you also for joining us. We're always grateful when you join. Please share. Let us have some great time. Evans Blay. Now, the Auditor General, through its own audit, has noticed that there's some concerns it has with some cocoa roads. And the cocoa roads, according to the Auditor General, seem to be dotted by a lot of liabilities for contractors. But more so, when it comes to those roads, we have a lot of the contracts that have been awarded on sole sourcing. We're deciding to discuss this because there's a big concern about why continuously, despite the assurances that were given by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the president himself, criticizing sole sourcing as not a credible means of ensuring value for money, the Auditor General would have to raise some of these concerns in its audit report. Now, if you look at the audit report, it says in 2020, for example, Cocoa Board awarded additional road contract with a total length of over 4,100 kilometers, and that's a major concern for many people as well, at a total contract sum of 18.2 billion Ghana cedis just in 2020. We need roads, but making sure we get value for money, according to the Auditor General, is very critical. 18 billion. Now, according to the Auditor General, on some of those stretches as well, they saw that there were stalling of some of those contracts because the contractors hadn't been paid. This is what the Speaker of Parliament himself, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, had to say.
This cocoa board thing is an inheritance from the colonial masters. The cocoa industry was used for their benefit. We are still continuing that. Can't we change? It's sad. I have received a lot of petitions from contractors for non-payment of their labor. A lot of arrears, both roads and highways, and the cocoa board. In fact, I propose to set up a high-powered committee here to investigate that matter. It's very, very important. So please, let's take this serious, not just make statements and it's a business as usual, and that is the end of the...
Well, Mr. Bagbin, so we're taking this serious. And for any audit report, if you want to look at how you need to read it, you also, apart from looking at the executive summary, the terms of reference, as is indicated by any auditor, not necessarily only the Auditor General and its assigns, you also get to go to the overall conclusion, before then the recommendations. And if you look at the overall conclusion and the recommendation as well, it says Cocoa Board could have achieved cost savings through more effective procurement management practices. All right. And then better supervision and monitoring to ensure the road projects were completed within time, quality, and cost. Now, George, I remember vividly, all of us as media and civil society, one of the clarion communication that was undertaken, and including even the opposition at the time, now forming government, when in the 8th year, was that there was so-called over-bloating of contracts that were awarded. Not only even Cocoa Roads, even the hospital just across the street. We're talking about the Greater Accra Regional, the Ridge Hospital, as we said, oh, it was over-bloated, there were press conferences, etc. Why is this a phenomenon in a government that had promised that this should not be?
Well, thank you. Let me say good morning to yourself, your production crew, council. Good morning to our viewers. Let me say belated happy birthday to Jerry Osei-Poku, the Eastern Regional organizer of the New Patriotic Party, a very hard-working individual. Good morning to His Excellency, the next President of the Republic, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. On you know, the way forward, possible launch of Tap and Go today, and then possible unveiling of the campaign team.
Please, what is Tap and
Go? It's a new transportation app that is going to help individuals to just use cards.
We'll discuss that second issue then.
Yes,
we'll abandon the second one. Please go ahead. We're discussing Tap and Go. Please, so continue. So you're saying good morning to Tap and Go, and then what?
And then the possible unveiling of the campaign team today by His Excellency the Vice President.
Oh, his team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, now the matter proper. The Cocoa Board audit is very good. And before I continue, let me commend the President on the reshuffle, asking about 10 cabinet ministers at a go. I doubt if it's ever happened. Yeah, so we'll talk about that, yeah. And that is, I think, very commendable.
We'll talk about Tap and Go, please. Go ahead.
Now, the reports. I'm happy about the second special report. You remember the first special report was the COVID-19 audits, and you know, Ghanaians called for it. The government said, no, it's important and proper that we have a special audit because of the special nature of that expenditure. Then this one too, Cocoa Board. We've had, the speaker was right and is right, because there's been calls by contractors, if you met them anywhere, even those of us who, they know that we are in government and part of the party, they spare no chance in telling you the challenges and the difficulties about getting their certificates paid and all that. And so it's been a matter of concern. And so if government is seeing the importance for us to then focus our eyes on that, it's good. I must comment that this is a good project, to be honest with you. When it started in 2015 by the former president, I thought it was good because if you've lived in a cocoa growing area before, you will appreciate the need for us to have their rules fixed.
I don't understand. What you criticize is good?
No, the cocoa project,
initiative.
the road, yes, the initiative.
What you criticize is good?
No, we didn't criticize that. We felt they were awarding more than what they've budgeted for. That was our concern. And interestingly, it's been the concern of the Auditor General, both Phase 1, CRIP 1, and CRIP 2. It means we, yes, critiqued it and because maybe the exigencies of the demands within the cocoa growing area, you have no choice but to see that you can do as many rules as possible to be able to facilitate the movement of cocoa from the hinterlands to the ports and then other processing points. And so that is the issue. And the Auditor General was not too happy with, one, the over budgeting, budgeting and then expending more than that. And another key area they touched on is the consultants' inability to do a proper job by not properly monitoring and supervising the works that are being done and properly assessing the
You've gone through the report,
of
haven't
work.
you?
Yes, quality of work done. And so, but the auditor's report again says that it is because Cocoa Board was not giving them their fees, to be able to move around to properly do these jobs. So it means some culpability ought to be put at the doorstep of Cocoa Board. But the generality of the policy Cocoa Road Improvement Program, Phase 1 and Phase 2, as proper. But certain things, as the auditor said, about 837.66 million cedis has been excess award, which the Auditor General doesn't find proper, even though it is a wholly funded and sponsored program and implemented by Cocoa Board. They work in partnership with Ghana Highway Authority and then Department of Feeder Roads. You get it, because they are the experts in the road development and improvement and co. Unfortunately, it seems like we are not meeting the target that has been projected. If you look at over 7,054 kilometers of roads awarded, and only 1,790, let's say about 1,800 kilometers have been completed, leaving a gap in 5,200 kilometers there. And I understand about 56 kilometers or so, contracts terminated. It's not too good. At this point, from 2015 to now, 9 years of the program, we should be having more than half of routes properly done and completed. And that will then inure to the benefit of people in the rural communities. It's not easy, Roland. Sometimes you get articulated tracks stuck in mud, with cocoa, and they had to offload it onto another track that will take it to a point for another articulator to take it. So this,
you should be criticizing the Cocoa Board for this. You are lamenting like all of us.
No, I'm not lamenting. I'm stating the facts as contained by the Auditor General, so that the viewer, the listener, will know what it is. You get it? Then, they begin to appreciate what it is that we are talking about. So that is the premise of the matter that we have. And I'm happy, we had the special audit. The challenges have been put out there. What is it that we are to do? And the Auditor General is advised Cocoa Board to get a proper implementation policy and program in place. You get it? And how they're going to execute it. They make sure they have a budget for it. Then they can do that. And they should be operating within their budget limits, and not be overshooting the budget. And then two, when certificates are reached, they should be able to pay, because if you operate operate within your budget, then of course it means you can pay works done. Okay, that is what going forward we should be doing. You get it? Otherwise, we keep overshooting the budget estimates. 837 million is no small money, almost $1 billion. Okay, and which is unplanned for. What engendered that? What made the Cocoa Board to do that? Is it a pressure, a political pressure, or is it the demand for road constructions in such areas and co? Again, one thing that they used, the Auditor General spoke about, is the proper identification of impactful routes, okay? Places that, you know, they think those routes are very impactful, and so they should prioritize that. And they didn't do that, okay? And that is something that I thought the Auditor General has brought out, and Cocoa Board should take note of that, and going forward begin to change their style of the award of the, because I personally think it's a good project because I've lived in a cocoa growing area before, both in the eastern region and the western north region. And so if you live in such areas, then you begin to appreciate the need for road constructions. And sometimes they still bridges and co. You know, one breaks down and the whole community or
stranded.
Yes, it's cut off.
Yeah.
Okay, they cannot even access.
I've been on some
markets.
documentary trips over the years, and sometimes you cannot
yes,
just go to the next place. And I've been you're
yes,
going from Asankrigua, you're going up to sometimes you go up to Samuel Boy, you know, those areas, and then you're stranded.
Yes.
But
Akontom, right?
yes,
and all
exactly.
that. It's not.
Look, Eduji, and we need to have a dispassionate conversation on the subject.
Yes.
The thing is, we were told that the projects were haphazardly awarded. Now it looks like, I've spoken to a number of the contractors, they had to again get their tenders back and then get the contract re-awarded to the same contractors, even at a higher cost, if I remember very, very well. I spoke to two of them, I think the last year. But that's not how we have to be operating as a country, is that it?
So you say, Roland, the visionary John Dramani Mahama, what he did in around 2014 was to put part of the syndicated loan aside, the cocoa syndicated loan aside, for the sole purpose of providing critical road infrastructure in cocoa growing areas. So Roland, you notice that even in this audit report, they actually shared it into two. They have CRID 1, that's Cocoa Road Improvement Program 1 and then 2. 1 under the NDC administration and 2 under the MPP administration. Significantly, the Auditor General makes certain findings for which reason we are supposed to interrogate. Now, if you read the Auditor General's report, which is just about 52 pages, the Auditor General is simply saying, right, that under the Akufo-Addo administration, 87% of the cocoa roads so far awarded were awarded sole source, not through competitive tendering. 87%.
That's worrying?
Extremely worrying.
But it's within the law to do sole sourcing.
Now you see, in 2003, when the Public Procurement Act was passed, by reason of the Act, the main form of or method of procurement should be through competitive tendering.
Sure.
Now, in exceptional circumstances, you are supposed to use sole sourcing, right? And so if you look at Section 40, it provides the grounds under which contracts can be awarded sole sourcing, and also provide the grounds under which you can do competitive tendering. Now, the norm is to use competitive tendering. The exception is to use what we call sole sourcing. However, under the Akufo-Addo administration, they have rather made sole sourcing the norm, competitive tendering now the exception. Now, if you look at the conduct of Mr. Akufo-Addo, at that time opposition leader, relative to the issue of sole sourcing, the MPP then in opposition basically likened sole sourcing to stealing and corruption, and felt that the only reason why some contracts were sole sourced under the Mahama administration was for the purpose of stealing. So if you look at this Facebook post by Mr. Gabi Asare Otri Daakun, November 23rd, 2016, this is what he says. I can't find my wallet. I think it has been sole sourced. I mean stolen. So effectively, what Gabi was saying in 2016 is that when you sole source a contract, you are effectively stealing that money.
Well, is it wrong?
No, but it is stealing good.
No, I mean, the position of Akufo-Addo then was that sole sourcing is not good. I think that's what we get from
exactly the point. And I'm saying,
that is it wrong for him to make those conclusions?
No, so today, having made the campaign promise to fight against sole sourcing, right? How in God's name, under your watch and leadership, 87% of contracts awarded. And do you know the value of this 87%? That's almost 9 billion Ghana cedis. 9 billion Ghana cedis, according to Gabi, had been stolen through sole sourcing. But even more significant, Akufo-Addo himself, when he became president, the State of the Nation address, SONA 2017, it was delivered on 21st February 2017. And this is what Akufo-Addo says, quote, "My government will enforce the procurement law. We will insist on open and competitive tendering for power capacity procurement." So this is Akufo-Addo, not opposition leader, now as president, his first State of the Nation address. He said that he is going to insist on open and competitive bidding for contracts. Under his watch, the Auditor General, not Domelevo, but the one appointed by him, is telling us that 87% of the Cocoa Roads contracts were done through sole sourcing. But you see, my brother, if you look at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and I want to link the conversation to something. This Bawumia, overpricing of contract through the use of sole sourcing is very typical of the John Mahama NDC government. This is a statement he gave on the 8th of September 2016. Like we say, nothing convicts a man faster than his own words. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says that when you sole source, you are overpricing. And that it was typical of the Mahama administration. Today, under his watch, as the chairman of the economic management team, the one who claims that he's in front of policy program and guiding its implementation, 87% of contracts awarded by Cocoa Board were done through sole source. Now, Bawumia says overpricing. Do you know something? As we speak now, Bawumia's own brother, remember that his father has about 18, 19 children. But the one that he is one mother, one father with, Ibrahim Mahama, has a contract, Ibrahim Bawumia, has a company named Resource Access Company Limited. This company has been awarded 2 contracts by Cocoa Board.
What's wrong with that?
Hold on. Through sole sourcing.
What's wrong with that?
So if Gabi, Akufo-Addo, and Bawumia himself are saying that contracts given through sourcing are overpriced, then I submit forcefully that these 2 contracts that were awarded to Bawumia's brother, Ibrahim Bawumia, of which he shared the same father, one mother with, to the extent that these contracts were awarded sole source, is it to suggest that it's stolen, overpriced? And so, the NPP, once in opposition, likened sole sources to corruption. Now, Bawumia tells us in the statement at UPSA that he is going to provide selfless leadership. That selfless leadership translates with his brother benefiting directly from government contract, not through competitive tendering, but sole sourcing. Now, guess what? And the 2 road projects, I can name them. First of all, he was awarded 54.2 million Ghana cedis. In a letter dated...
So why are you saying that is double standard or...
No, this is beyond double standard.
Then what is it? What's your complaint?
This is beyond double standard. This is Bawumia himself benefiting. And listen,
His brother is an entity. Because I remember...
His brother.
No, please.
Oh, now you are talking about his brother.
No,
but you see, let me just give
you want to make a point before...
Yes. First contract is the upgrading of Efutu, Ebrim, Aguna, and Efutu to Sorodos feeder roads. Can you imagine something? 21 kilometers was given at 54 million Ghana cedis. So effectively for every kilometer, Cocoa Board was paying 2 million Ghana cedis. Under the NDC administration, it was barely 1 million. The NPP described it as what? Inflated projects. Today, under the watch of Dr. Bawumia, his brother is a beneficiary of 83 million Ghana cedis. The second road project is Chiboso, whatever, Bangalore feeder roads.
That one, what's the principle behind what you're saying?
The principle behind what I'm saying is that Dr. Bawumia cannot blow hot and cold.
How?
That is hypocrisy. The accounts call it Motro Mojo, in the sense that in one breath, you have actually condemned sole sourcing.
Okay.
Not only is your government implementing sole sourcing, but your own blood brother is a beneficiary of the sole
Ibrahim
sourcing.
Mahama also had
Peter.
bauxite.
Had a lot of projects.
If you recall, even the bauxite deal that you are talking about.
Roads.
Oh, please. The bauxite deal that you are talking about went through competitive tendering.
And I'm saying that the principle about... Are you talking about the principle about awarding contract to a relative?
No, you see, hold on. We have always said sole sourcing is permissible under the law.
Okay.
Then Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, Gabi, and co, whilst in opposition, condemned.
So you are raising the concern about the double standard.
Not only the double standard, they said sole sourcing amounts to stealing. They said sole sourcing amounts to overpricing. Okay. Today,
so are you condemning it? Be clear.
What exactly is it? I am using.
So you are saying that it is not wrong to sole source, but
it's
the condemnation
but the condemnation to apply to them
was hypocritical.
Today, not only hypocritical. Why are they now making sole sourcing the norm?
When they criticize it.
When they criticized it in the past.
Okay.
And you see, if you look at the Auditor General, the Auditor General says that for the road projects that were awarded through sole sourcing, okay, those that went through competitive tendering, were thrice cheaper. So what it means is that the taxpayer is paying more for the sole source jobs. Meanwhile, Akufo-Addo's reason is that I shall protect the public purse by insisting on what? Value for money. The Auditor General says that there were no value for money. If you read the report, there were no value for money. So what we should all understand is that the Akufo-Addo government cannot benefit from the criticism, the condemnation of sole sourcing under the Mahama administration. Today, the evidence is so clear that you are not only sole sourcing, but you are awarding some of the contract to your own relatives. That is revealing. Until this revelation, we didn't know that Bawumia's brother, blood brother, is a beneficiary. 83 million Ghana cedis was awarded to his brother for 2 road contracts. 54 million and 29 million Ghana cedis. So you cannot in one... Oh, please. Oh, now he's a citizen.
I say Ibrahim has done a lot of government routes.
You understand? So you see, that is where we all need to know that in one breath you condemn sole sourcing. In another breath, you are awarding sole sourcing contract to your own relations. Very significant.
Well, Evans Blay on our stream, Evans Blay, good morning, says that clearly this is a two-faced government, and
but you see, Roland,
please conclude
so
for me.
So I can conclude.
Conclude for me.
But you see,
conclude, so that because George seems to have
you see,
a very critical and important.
This overpricing of contracts through sole sourcing has today saddled Cocoa Board with huge debts.
How much?
In fact, if you look at the Auditor General's report, it's in excess of 9 billion. 9 billion Ghana cedis.
18 billion.
No, that's overall the value of
2015.
yes, the overall. But even more, do you know that as we speak today, because of Cocoa Board's indebtedness, right? We have to go for syndicated loan at 8%. The highest since 1992.
It means that the market doesn't trust us.
Exactly.
We are not credible.
And
not
now,
creditworthy.
and now, effectively, we have destroyed Cocoa Board. Do you know?
How can you say that?
Please, do you know how much we are producing this year? Less than 500,000 metric tons.
Cocoa Board has not officially come out.
No, but that is it. That is the record.
But you are part of that production.
It's on
Sefi,
international.
they killed cocoa in Sefi.
Oh, how? After 7 years?
It's on international media platform.
After 7 years, NDC killed.
No, you get to know what it is.
So the point.
Regeneration.
So the point should be made.
I want to get to the point where
point should be made abundantly clear.
Yes.
That the Akufo-Addo administration not only have they destroyed Cocoa Board in the space of 7 years.
What do you mean by distraction? That's
no, but you see, what do you do when now a company that in the past could do syndicated
you mean
loans
it is not performing as it used
but
to?
that's distraction.
Okay.
Your cocoa production had moved from almost 1 million to less than 500,000 metric tons. You should be worried.
We hit 1 million.
And the point should be made abundantly clear that this government, through its actions, policy programs, have destroyed. You remember under John Mahama, we're giving free fertilizers to cocoa farmers.
They were taking it across the border.
This government came, and do you know what they decided to do? Even the fertilizers that were procured free, they decided to sell it to cocoa farmers. So if there's any reason for the destruction of cocoa, it is one, the unbridled galamsey that has been allowed by this government, and the fact that what they need to do to grow the cocoa trees, they are not doing it.
All right. George
and
wants
the
to,
rest
George,
is a disaster.
we need some explanation to this because we seem to be having a lot of reactions. Neelanti van der Poy, current member of Parliament for Dududo, not standing again for the election in December, says, and please respectfully, don't forget that Nanado even appointed a minister in charge of procurement.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Who's the minister?
Yeah, Adjusaf.
Okay, great. Is it not hypocritical to hear that 87% of contracts were awarded as sole sourcing? And then also, I have this important one also coming from Kofi Kwating Ameni, who says, these contracts were awarded, especially the ones in 2020, which was an election year. How can you award contracts that exceed your budgeted amount by 1,000 Ghana cedis? And then Money says, when the government assumed power in 2017, they said the contracts were over-bloated, and so they had to, again, do an assessment. An assessment was done publicly. Yeah. And then after that, re-award same contract at a higher cost. Now, Nana Yimedu, Jubilee House Communication, good morning to you, Nana Yimedu. He says, please allow the NPP rep to call out the NDC with the same energy you aid the NDC rep to talk on the NPP. I've read your message, Nana Yimedu.
That's my boss.
That's your boss, yeah? Okay, so he said I should allow you. So,
no,
it's okay.
No,
it's okay. So I'm going to allow you unfettered access.
No
interjection.
No,
please.
It's only fair.
No, please.
On this platform, nobody interjected you when you...
No, please.
So
I asked
what
one
is
or
the
two questions to be
suggestion?
fair.
He's saying he gave you time to push your energy.
I was watching.
Please, let's not argue. It's okay. So now I'm going to give you no interaction. Whatever you want to say, 5 minutes. So please put this on the screen, and it's a screenshot of directly from the Procurement Act. Now let's go up where there's every indication as to the single source procurement and how it's undertaken. It says, when it comes to the single source procurement, a procurement entity may engage in single source procurement under Section 41, with the approval of the board following exceptional circumstances. All right. As a result of that, you continue. It does indicate that, please, can we have it on the line, on the screen? It says, where goods, works or services are only available from a particular supplier or contractor, or if a particular supplier or contractor has exclusive rights in respect of the goods, works or services, and a reasonable alternative or substitute does not exist. And it could mean many things, maybe the financial muscle, etc. And we're talking about, you look at section 41 as well as 41A, and you go to 41B, where there is an urgent need for the goods, works or services, and engaging in tender proceedings, etc. So, Mr. George Isi, unfettered access. Nana Ibedu, good morning. 5 minutes. Why does it look like we seem to have created a certain devil per the action that is taken when it comes to invoking Section 40 of the Procurement Act in any procurement process, while we know that the government and its assigns are doing same?
I don't
Single
understand
source.
government and its assigns. I don't understand what you mean by government and its assign, but the
assign
single
just mean
source.
people it's put in position who are supervising these entities.
Okay.
Is it clearer now, sir?
Yes, it's clearer. Single source procurement processes, yes, as you said, is by law, but it's supposed to be the exception instead of the norm. Per these reports that we're reading, it looks like it's now become the norm instead of the exception. And nobody is going to make excuses for that. I believe Cocoa Board and the people that are in charge will be able to properly speak to this. And then the then Ministry of Procurement will be able to also give a detail to that. And let's know there are conditions under which somebody can do single sources, and
We've
you've
read that already.
Yes, and you've read that. So, per the Auditor General's report, do some of these fit into that? Do they? And then two, the overpricing concept. What did the report say that the nature of roads that are constructed? We know that on some roads they say single layer, others double layer, and all that. You put that together to determine the price of the road that is being constructed. And so, what was the position of the Auditor General on some of these roads? He didn't decipher them. I've not read that. Maybe if council has read that, we get to know. So that you can say the same 10-kilometer stretch, one may cost 10 cedis, the other may cost 15 cedis or so, depending on the number of layers that are being used. So, but whatever it is, the concept, yes, we admit we spoke against the continuous excess award of sole sourcing and co. And we all thought it was not too proper. And why is it that still under us, per the Cocoa Board report, it's still ongoing, and to the point of about 87% per the report. I wouldn't sit here to say that is the best. Let's get to know why that. And as the report said, single source ones seem to be more expensive than the competitively bidded road constructions. And so these are things that we need to look at. Fortunately, Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament is taking interest in this whole thing. And because a lot of contractors are not being paid, let's see how we get them paid. And then we put brakes to this issue of sole sourcing, unless, of course, it was an exigency, emergency, and we needed to go on that route. we make the justification. When the auditor comes, we make the justification. Because if you read the report, he said he engaged the officers, you know, who were directly involved in the award and all that supervision and co. So you need to give a justification as to why you are doing sole sourcing for 87% of the project, as against the contra being the case, maybe about 30, 70 being the case. So that is one thing we need to look at again. Council spoke about the cocoa industry and its performance. I've said they killed it, and you know, look, Seshi Enclave used to be the cocoa capital of this country, and at a point where they needed to cut overgrown cocoa trees and do the replanting, they didn't do it. Okay, go check cocoa board reports and co. They didn't do it at the time they ought to do. And that one, government is sponsors the cutting and all. And under the President Mahama administration, sometimes they ask the farmers themselves to engage in the cutting and the replanting. That is not right, because the person has lived all his life in the area for that cocoa. So he thinks, oh, he can leave it 1 year, 2 years, he'll get some 10 bags or 5 bags and co. But under President Kufuor, then they employ the services of cocoa research and cocoa board people to do that work and do the replanting, and they give every acre, there's an allowance that is given to the farmer. That motivates them to do other cropping in between. So that was delayed. It's under this government, under Boahinedu, that this thing has been restarted. And you know, 3-year cocoa growing seedlings and co are put in place, so that you then begin to reap the benefits. So when President Kufuor started, as I come under them, we got the first 1 million or so, and then we got the second 1 million now. So it is a deliberate policy by Cocoa Board to push the cocoa production. And so if it happens that way and trees are cut, definitely it's going to affect overall production, okay? So that is something that we need to look at. Again, brothers or so of executive authority, people in high-ranking authorities and co, getting jobs. Well, I don't know whether how their brothers influence the process and co, but it's not new, because the former president's brother is a businessman. And I know that under President Kufuor, he secured very good projects, road constructions and co. And in fact, I think he's on record to have said is one of the things that catapulted him to where he is, okay? The kind of works that he was able to get and do around under President Kufuor. It helped him to lay the foundation and then catapult him to where he is today. And under his brother, he got jobs, okay, road construction. Last time, a friend of mine put it here, that there are 2 brothers, one Peter, and then, of course, Ibrahim, who is known. Yes, that just the road projects have been given to them that they have been doing. So don't worry, we'll get it for you. Don't worry.
Give me
so
the
brothers of executive people,
this is a serious
business people, their business cannot ground to a halt because the brother is in power. It's not fair to them. You get it? It's not fair to them. It's unfortunate. There are cases where, you know, people get jobs, import things, and decide not to pay duties and issue that checks and co. It's happened in this country. You get it? But, you know, that notwithstanding, let's do proper things and let things go. I'm happy this audit report is in. Parliament is interested. Let Parliament take a second look at it, and then let's see going forward how we can stop these, you know, energy interest in giving sole source projects other than competitively based.
So 5 minutes is up.
These are the ways that I think we need to be making progress.
How do you reconcile that pre-2017 an activity using or invoking sections of the procurement process is evil, and then there's every justification post-2017 for which the audit...
justifying it.
I'm asking a question, please. For which now you are even invoking people doing business. There's Ibrahim Muhammad doing business, and some of those ones for which you haven't even provided further and better particulars to that. No, I'm serious. Please.
That is a business
and
man.
Then, no, but he is no, please. And at the end of the day, there is a concern that has been raised by the Auditor General that it's not only indiscriminate, based on my own understanding and paraphrasing, but even the works that are awarded are poorly supervised, and then even the contractors have not been paid.
Some of them.
How do you reconcile the position? Is it double standard, hypocrisy?
Oh, no. And you see, Dr. Baumia used a certain word, the exigencies of the moment, now and then going into
So this one is
2025.
exigency of the moment.
No. Let me put it in the proper context. And so that being the case, I wouldn't say somebody was ignorant of the law prior to coming to office. No. People will make their comments and all that. You've cited individuals who are party members who have said some things, and you cited the vice president who had said certain things. Now, it is contingent upon them, upon coming into office, to say that, okay, what is the basis for this sole sourcing? The law says it should be exception. Why is it that now we have it this way? That's why I said I'm happy Parliament is showing interest through the Speaker about all these happenings, and I believe the audit report will be before them, and they will properly go into it. As to how somebody gets into office and then you say this A, B, that's why I say exigencies of the moment. If the Auditor General says, okay, this road was a very important road and must be done, urgently, sometimes you say, okay, the contractor that has the capacity, especially Government of Ghana projects, sometimes you need somebody with the capacity to start. And then government will be, once you raise certificate, they pay you, and then you go on.
You haven't answered my question, Mr. AC. And the question is very simple.
Yes.
So please hear again. The question is, Mr. AC, why is an action pre-2017 not untoward or untoward, but now it is okay?
Pre-27.
In terms of invoking Section 40.
I said prior to that, it wasn't okay. It cannot be said to be okay now. 87%. I thought I've answered that. That 87% so cannot be the norm. Okay? Cannot be the norm. I answered this severally. Okay? And so but we still need to know. That's why I said if Parliament is going into it, we still need to know what, engendered the, award of contracts via sole sourcing to the tune of about 87%. And that detail will be given us by Parliament. You get it? It cannot be untoward then, and then because it's under our government, we say it is no. 87% is a no. But let's get to know why it's happening that way. And then those who, engendered that, what we need to do. The law provides penalties and others, so let's allow the law.
And per Section 40, it's not wrong. Yeah. And so,
there should be exception.
Mr. Edwige Tamaklo, how do we get onto the straight and narrow, but also answer the question that sole sourcing is not wrong?
You see, if you and today I think I need to commend him. He's done something unusual about an MPP communicator, conceding
George is always
that the government has been,
sincere,
extremely hypocritical. But you see, if you read the report, and I want to read this paragraph, it answers your question. And the heading is, Cocoa Board's use of sole source procurement and restrictive tendering led to higher costs for some of the road project contracted. And it says, the majority, 87% of the contracts for CRIP 2 were awarded through single source procurement and restrictive tendering, resulting in higher costs compared to contracts awarded through competitive tendering. The reasons provided by Cocoa Board for using these procurement methods did not align with the requirement of the Public Procurement Act. Quite clearly, the Auditor General is saying that by going through that route, they have violated the Public Procurement Act. Do you know that as we speak, this government is in court prosecuting people for breaching the Procurement Act? Former government appointed this government. So in one breath, the point I'm making is that in one breath, you are prosecuting people for violating the act and at the same time committing the same violation. Tomorrow is pregnant. That's all that I can say on this. And you see, when
Pregnant of what?
You say?
Pregnant of what?
All the things that is in it, twins and what.
Please do interrupt. I want to go to, he said tap and go. What is tap and go? I
No,
want
but
to know
no,
from
I
you.
beg you. We'll do the tap. But you see, the point ought to be made clear. And when you are speaking, I challenge him. Provide the road job that Mahama or Ibrahim Mahama
we'll get it for
did.
you.
He could not, just for the record, on this platform.
I'll get
But
it.
I have provided the name of the company, Resources Access Company Limited, is owned by Ibrahim Baumia. And the evidence is there. 2 road projects, all in Central Region, totaling 83.7 million Ghana cedis.
I'm asking, what is wrong with that?
It's, I mean, at this point, if you are still asking me what is wrong with it, just suppose that with the words of Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, that they were overpriced, inflated. That is what Bamia has said in opposition. And he cannot today be doing different. And you see, Bamia postured and said he is selfless. How can you be selfless if this is the benefit coming to your immediate brother? And you know something? Let me make this point clear. If you look at the Public Procurement Act, Section 40, Section 40 says that unless the thing involves national security, emergency, that is when you go through
And
the
there's no
sole source.
substitute and
Yeah,
other
there's no
things.
substitute. As at the time,
Specialized.
yes, as at the time Bamia's brother was awarded this particular contract, what road project has he done? In fact, evidence I'm gathering now is even suggesting that the recent work on the Sunyani airport was undertaken by the same contractor.
Well, I have no,
So that is why I am saying
I have
that.
no corroborative evidence. So I have
hold
to
on.
disassociate
What
myself.
corroborative
Please, let me
evidence?
disassociate
I am saying
myself.
that. Hold on.
So
From
your point is
hold
that
on, please.
relatives of
On the
executives are not
second-
So you've made your point.
No,
That's,
so let me-
that's
let me-
okay.
On the
Edwin, let's not go there.
On the
please,
2nd
please,
July
please.
2020.
You're a lawyer, please.
On the 2nd July 2020, the Public Procurement Authority gave a single source approval to this company to undertake the 2 major road projects, all totaling 83 million, to the brother
The
of
date again.
Dr.
The date
Mahmoud
again.
Bamia,
The-
2nd July 2020.
Okay.
You understand? And remember that it was the election year.
Exigencies.
Election year.
Exigencies.
And that's the point. And so if you notice, the election year...
But Edith, you are not saying that invoking Section 40 of the Act is wrong, right?
The
I'm happy you put the act
hold
here
on.
for all of
The
us.
Auditor General is saying that even though the Act allows this,
Yes.
the grounds on which Cocoa Board awarded this contract did not meet the requirement of the law. What it means is that the award of this contract was a violation of the
done
Public
competitive.
Procurement
We'll talk
Act.
about tap and
It
go.
could have been
Tap
done
and go.
competitive.
Evans
Okay,
Dinko Garu says, please get ready on tap and go
Yeah,
from
yeah,
here. The contract awarded for the roads in this government must be investigated. Evans Ninko Garu. And then also Kalioman says, all that the MPP rep said, all the MPP said was bad and wrong in opposition is now a norm in government. And that's same. Now, I have this one from Ose Mensa Bonsu, says he is texting from Kwada. So, if you take a look at what the president has by way of his vision, it is to make sure that Ghana meets standards just like other countries. Will the NDC stop pointing negative fingers at everything that is done? Ghana needs to develop. And then some Yale says, Georgia, you see, if you lock a dead person in your room and lock it up, no matter how long you take to come back, the corpse will be there waiting for you. How on earth could you have discussed this scandal without mentioning the Baumias who are the beneficiaries of this, you say? And then also, I have this one from Alex Apau. Good morning to you. Thank you. Elliot Wogbe says, what's the meaning of tap and go by Baumia? We'll discuss it soon, sir. Elliot Wogbe says, what's the current state of the Ayalolo and Metro buses that we already have? All right, so we're coming to discuss this. And Nimani said, I should ask you, when Ibrahim Ahama wanted to clean up the Odo River, What did the NPP say? But you guys are insulting
did
John
it.
Mahama over the bauxite thing. And today,
He
look at
did it.
this. So we have PHK, who is also this, and Dr. Bukari Samuel Kandi, who says it's never easy to communicate. What is tap and go, sir?
Yeah, thank you. You know, Mr. Digitization, the Vice President.
And let me read this, otherwise Mr. Akwete will not forgive me. It says sole sourcing, Harry Nati Akwete says, sole sourcing, appropriately called single source, like lawyer is saying, is a non-competitive tendering process which is only permitted under exceptionality after an approval by the board, as a PPA board, for a fee. NPP, after critiquing it, are now utilizing it, which is inappropriate or a double standard. So the question is, has it gone through the board approval? I'm sure.
Definitely.
If we've gone through
That is so,
processes.
so